I am a consumer of everything that is African. And I can tell you that our ancestors left us the ability to do very difficult things like placing one foot in front of the other, for that is the only way I got here from there. That is the only way we are going to ascend the mountains that we call challenges. That is the only way I am going to get from here back to the places where I came from. Our dreams seem to be lopsided, and so look at me. But when I choose to celebrate this great continent, I love to wear black, for darkness is the only backdrop against which light can be seen. Darkness is the only backdrop against which all our gold and our wealth can be seen. Darkness is still in our minds, my people, but the dawn cannot be too far behind. I am the writer king who sips communion wine from the calabash. I came to pour libation, one so many times. I came to pour libation not to our ancestors who have been dead and invoked too many times. I came to pour libation to you, and to you, and to you. You realize that tears are tasty, yet they do not betray the emotions that evoke them. And so, ideas might be daring, they will not reveal the things that push us. Africa, let us run. Let us not run with the rest of the world, let us run against each other, knowing that time stands still, watching how we make the best of this. And when all our long, short lives are spent, the rest of the world would have our steps to tell us, pointing fingers the left or the right, whichever one we choose it to be, and they will be the next generation you choose to call the future. I will be back.
With a voice that echoes the wisdom of our ancestors, ladies and gentlemen, the writer king who sips communion wine with the gods. One more time, Nana Sase. And so one step after one step, ladies and gentlemen, behold, it is the greatest gateway to new opportunities. Behold, IATF 2025. I can't feel the energy. Behold, IATF 2025. Let's do something unique. When I say IATF 2025, you say, Algiers, we're coming. Can we do that? So 1, 2, 3. IATF 2025. Algiers, we're coming. A little more volume. IATF 2025. And right from here, Accra, Ghana, at the center of the earth and the commercial capital of the continent, it is with such delight I say good morning, Africa, and welcome to this new dawn where we open a gateway to the new opportunities that behold our continent. IATF 2025, the largest gathering of high-level government officials, captains of industry, and partners, as well as executives from the Afreximbank. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a planned business roadshow that has already happened in Nairobi, going to take place in Johannesburg and Lagos, but right now we are in Accra, Ghana. Put your hands together for yourselves. My name is Jerry Ajololo, and on behalf of yours and mine, Afreximbank, in partnership with Oakwood Green, I welcome you to the Ghana IATF 2025. This morning, our joy is made complete by the presence of the Minister for Trade, who is here represented by the acting head of the AfCFTA National Coordination Office. Would you please make welcome Mr. Benjamin Esiam? But our hearts are further made glad by the presence of a great son of the soil, the Secretary General of the AfCFTA. Make welcome His Excellency Wamkele Mene. Would you please make welcome with resounding joy the Ambassador of Algeria to Ghana, ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Murad Luhaida. Thank you. We receive the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps of the Republic of Ghana, who is also the Ambassador of Lebanon to Ghana, His Excellency Maha Kher. Help me receive from the Afreximbank the Managing Director, Research and Group Chief Economist, Dr. Yemi Kale. And he leads the team of directors and officials of the Afreximbank. Allow me to make welcome, ladies and gentlemen, our proud ambassadors, Mr. Gabriel Edgar and Dr. Ifwa Sabia Sare. Together with, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Francis Kojo Kwating Arthur, the CEO of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. Thank you. We make welcome directors and officials of the AfCFTA Oakwood Green Afreximbank, together with distinguished speakers, directors and officials of ministries, departments and agencies, captains of industry and industry experts, as well as business leaders, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. What we're going to behold is an experience of what awaits us in September, from the 4th to the 10th. But before I tell you anything about that, please lend your attention to the screen as I show to you IATF 2025. And shortly we shall receive that video. But Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is the 4th edition of the IATF, Africa's premier trade and investment event that promotes opportunities and presents a single market for the African continental free trade area of more than 1.4 and a GDP of over 3.5 billion.
Decision makers from business, government, the diaspora, the Caribbean, and the rest. 4th Intra-African Trade Fair in the People's Republic of Algeria. Africa's premier trade and investment event is presented by the African Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank, the African Union Commission, and the AfCFTA Secretariat. Join us from September the 4th to the 10th, 2025 to access more opportunities for trade, partnerships, and possibilities across Africa. With over 2,000 exhibitors, 35,000 plus attendees from 140 plus countries, and the potential to generate $44 billion in trade and investment opportunities, this edition is set to be a game changer. Access more trade. Showcase your products and services in our customized pavilions, designed to connect you with sponsors, investors, partners, and decision makers from business, government, the diaspora, the Caribbean, and the rest of the world. Whether you're a seasoned player or a startup, IATF 2025 opens doors to more connections, collaborations, and growth. Over 7 exciting days, you'll be inspired by distinguished leading speakers from Africa and around the globe and gain valuable insights into the continent's trade and investment landscape, while elevating your brand recognition and showcasing your vibrant range of African products and services. Access more insights. Be inspired by world-class speakers and industry leaders at the Trade and Investment Forum. Learn about trade opportunities under AfCFTA. Tackle key barriers to intra-African trade, and gain practical tools through training workshops on exporting, standards, and marketing. Access more creativity. Celebrate Africa's vibrant creative economy at the Creative Africa Nexus, where fashion, music, film, arts and crafts, sports, literature, and culinary arts take center stage. Discover new markets and untapped talent in an atmosphere brimming with energy and innovation. Access more markets. The African Buyers Program and matchmaking sessions ensure meaningful exchanges, enabling businesses to conclude impactful deals. Access more engagement. The Special Day segment is open to countries, private and public sector entities, and offers tailored opportunities for countries and entities to highlight their trade, investment, tourism, and cultural potential. Access more connections. Through the IATF virtual platform, you can showcase your goods, services, and investment opportunities on an interactive online platform available all year round. Access more innovation. Explore the future of Africa's automotive industry with auto manufacturers, OEMs, and suppliers. Access more growth. See the next generation of African innovators showcase their bold ideas and prototypes at our dedicated pavilion for African youth startups. Access more connections. IATF 2025 Global Africa Day will highlight commercial and cultural ties between Africa and its diaspora, featuring a Global Africa Summit, a market, exhibitions, and a distinctly African cultural and gastronomic showcase. Access more expertise. Dive into cutting-edge research and inventions by students, academics, and national researchers that are shaping Africa's future with the Africa Research and Innovation Hub at IATF. Access more partnerships. The African Sub-Sovereign Governments Network Conference presents a platform to promote intra-African trade and investment, educational and cultural exchanges, and effective and active engagement on the development of Africa regions in the context of the AfCFTA. Access more of Africa's potential. With access to a unified African market of 1.4 billion people and a GDP of $3.5 trillion created under the AfCFTA, IATF 2025 offers unparalleled opportunities to trade, grow, and thrive. African Export-Import Bank, African Union, AfCFTA Secretariat, and the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria invite you to join us at the IATF 2025 in Algiers, Algeria, your gateway to new opportunities. Don't miss out. Visit Intra-African-Trade-Fair.com to confirm your participation and access more today.
And that's the experience that awaits us in Algiers, come the 4th to the 10th of September. Please put your hands together. And although we look like the 500 to 700 in this room, our real size is made evident in the thousands who join us online on the IATF YouTube channel. Please, let's make them welcome with a resounding round of applause. To you joining us online, we invite you to join us at the IATF 2025, which is happening in Algiers from the 4th to the 10th of September 2025. For us in this room, how about a foretaste of what we're going to experience? Wouldn't that be great? So this is what we have for you today. We have a B2B session to engage with Afreximbank and its partners in the B2B engagements that will happen outside. All we need from you is to register, to book in advance at the IATF booth and the exhibition area during coffee break, and you'll be glad you did. Additionally, if you're in the creative and automotive industries, wow, we have dedicated booths at the exhibition area for you. And for any other inquiry on the Creative African Nexus, what we call CANEX, how many of us are in the creative sector? You will be abundantly blessed by the exhibition that we put up. And the automotive vertical of the IATF. So all these come together as the core areas that we're showing to you, and please, don't miss it for anything at all. There's also dedicated booths for travel information for all those desirous of joining us in Algiers. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a full buffet, and it's all made possible because of Afreximbank. Let's put our hands together one more time for them. What we do best at Oakwood Green is to leverage our partnerships and synergies across our wide network of change makers and global leaders to change the African story for the better. We do this through 5 thematic areas, but it's my pleasure to give to you the man who leads us in this noble charge. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the chairman and group CEO of Oakwood Green Africa, and for good reason is the IATF ambassador. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gabriel Edgar is your man.
Great and eloquent Jerry. You never ever disappoint, do you? Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, thank you. I'm always happy to be part of history being made, and this is one of such occasions. His Excellency, Mr. Wamkele Mene, Secretary General of the AfCFTA Secretariat, my friend and brother, and one of the champions of ensuring that Africa can be extremely self-sufficient. Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjare, Minister for Trade and Agribusiness and Industry, Republic of Ghana, ably represented by Mr. Benjamin Esiam, National Coordinator for the AfCFTA. You're welcome, sir. Ambassadors, consular heads here present, Dr. Yemi Kale, the Managing Director for Research and Group Chief Economist of Afreximbank, Mr. Francis Kojo Kwating, Arthur, CEO, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, representatives of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce Associations, Ghana Association of Ghana Industries, executives of trade associations, the Automotive Association, other associations, captains of industry, senior executives from Afreximbank, the IATF Secretariat, colleagues from the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, my colleagues from Okud Green Africa, friends from the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Let me begin by welcoming you to Accra. For those of you who have traveled in, especially those from Afreximbank, this is a city that has long played a catalytic role in shaping continental progress. From the bold aspirations of Osajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, to the policy of innovations that we see today, this land has often been the launching pad for new chapters in Africa's journey. Today is one of such chapters. We gather here today with a clear and present purpose: to prepare ourselves, our institutions, and our businesses for the Intra-African Trade Fair 2025 in Algiers from 4th to 10th of September in Algeria. With over 2,000 exhibitors, 35,000 visitors, and more than $44 billion in projected trade and investment deals, some of which will be your deals. Say amen, somebody. IATF is more than a platform. It is a declaration, a signal that African enterprise is ready to collaborate, ready to scale, and ready to lead in trade. This business engagement session is part of a series of roadshows taking place across the continent, from Liberia to Sierra Leone to Gambia, now to Ghana, South Africa, and others to follow. These gatherings are turning conversations into action. While frameworks and policies matter, it is the entrepreneurs in this room, the producers and the businesses that bring the AfCFTA to life. But they have to meet and exchange. And this is what the IATF does for us. IATF is making this possible. The theme of today's session, harnessing regional and continental value chains, accelerating Africa's industrialization and global competitiveness under the AfCFTA, is not a new ambition. In fact, it revives an older reality. Long before borders were drawn, Africa thrived as a connected economy. Trade was a way of life, value was created locally, progress moved through relationships and exchange. Across the world today, unfortunately, we see increasing protectionism. Traditional aid partners are looking increasingly inward. The global economic tide is shifting, and everybody is now focusing on themselves. But that's okay. I believe this is a wake-up call for us in Africa, that we now need to be more deliberate about trading amongst ourselves, about our collective prosperity, building for ourselves and growing for ourselves and creating interconnected prosperity. It is time for action. Platforms like the IATF are not about speeches and panels. I have been to every single one of them, and I can assure you they are about action. They are the bridges that move us from potential to product, from hope to supply, and from vision to value. This platform brings buyers and sellers from all over Africa together and ensures that value is created and solutions are exchanged. It is a very interesting and very turbocharged environment. You meet new people, new ideas come up, deals are closed. You saw that just now. Imagine the 54 countries of Africa gathered in one place. Everyone wanting to buy something, everyone wanting to sell something, some of which will be ours. I often say something. Africa does not lack potential. Potential opens doors. It is only solutions and products and partnerships that walk through it. We have said we should look within. What do we have that we can exchange? We have said we need to do something. Don't be a bystander. be a part of the change we want to see. Today we say prepare, plug in, and come and participate in the IATF. Let us look at what's happening in Africa, just some practical examples. Rwanda once imported 90% of its milk powder for Europe. But someday they met. And today it partners with Kenya's Brookside Dairy, sourcing regionally, cutting costs and boosting its East African dairy integration. Zambia's Zambeef exports poultry and beef to DRC, reducing reliance of imports from outside the continent. Senegal's Institut Pasteur provides vaccines to Mali, helping reduce health import dependency. Ethiopia's textile parks feed into Kenya's garment industry. Dangote's refinery in Nigeria set to supply all of sub-Saharan Africa with the fuel it needs to power our mobility and our businesses. Africans are providing products and solutions to Africans. It is happening already. There are many more potential opportunities and partnerships waiting out there for you. But like we say, we cannot be like the proverbial ostriches with our heads in the sand. We need to go out there to find them. And IATF is the place to go, Algeria. And of course, right here in Ghana, we have a strategic role. With our Atlantic coastline, we sit at a natural transshipment point between West, Central, and even Southern Africa. Our logistics sector, ports, free zones, have what it takes to become the arteries of African trade. For transport companies, this is your moment to connect ports and optimize inland routes. We should no longer be shipping our goods through Europe only to come back to Africa. We should begin to create the interconnectivity and look at the blue oceans and utilize them. For insurance companies, new regional trade also means new categories of risk and new opportunity. From insuring cross-border cargo to designing new intra-Africa trade products, now is the time to innovate. For financial institutions, there are products to be financed, transactions to be enabled, and new partnerships to be brokered. Whether it is trade finance, supply chain finance, SME lending, this space is growing. Take your place. Take advantage of these opportunities brought to you by the AfCFTA Secretariat, and I must thank my brother, His Excellency Wamkene Mene, for all he has been doing, and especially the occasion of the IATF to avail yourselves of Afreximbank's numerous trade advancement and facilitation programs, most of which my institution, Okud Green Africa, provides a last-mile delivery to assist governments, corporates, businesses, and entrepreneurs. The meeting point for all of these potential opportunities is what IATF gathering creates. Here, importers will meet exporters, commodities will meet buyers, and problems will meet solutions. For creatives and entrepreneurs, and I see Jerry also mentioned that, the IATF 2025 is your stage. This is a stage where artists, designers, filmmakers, and innovators can showcase not only their talent, but business models. With CANEX, the Creative Africa Nexus, and platforms for intellectual property exchange, Africa's creative economy finally has the audience and infrastructure that it deserves. Let us prepare to be at IATF 2025, a very electrifying moment for each and every one of us, as we will see. For years, Afreximbank, together with its partners, have been working to ensure that the doors are not only opened, but that businesses can walk through it. Through platforms like the Mansa platform for KYC to ensure that you know who you are dealing with, the various financing options for projects and for trade, the Pan-Africa payment system introduced jointly with the AfCFTA for easy cross-border payments, amongst others, and don't take that perhaps lightly. It is capable of transforming the entire nation of Africa. Imagine if I could import the meters that we use for electricity from Cairo, Egypt, where LCWD produces these meters, and I do not need to pay in dollars, but I pay in local currency. Imagine if construction for our roads, I do not need to buy machinery and pay in dollars, but I can pay in Ghana cedi, and that counterpart receives Egyptian pounds. Do you know what that means? It means that no more pressure on the dollar. It means that we eradicate imported inflation as a result of exchange rates. It means that your reserves continue to grow. It means that inflation reduces and cost of goods reduces. It is completely transformational. So if you do not know about PAPS, today is the day that you find out about the local banks and those who are offering you the opportunity to do that. But these tools are only as powerful as our decision to know them and to use them. The IATF gives us the opportunity to know about the possibilities out there. What is available from Afreximbank and what is available from our neighbors. So I ask all of us here today, what does your country import that another country in Africa produces? What do you produce and export that you could actually export to other African countries and take advantage of this? What sectors are you in, and who in this room or in another African country at IATF could be your next partner? What has worked in other African countries that we can learn from? What partners are out there that you can leverage to expand your business? We cannot stay immobile. We must move. We cannot be like the proverbial ostriches. That's what we say. We need to reach out. The truth is this: Africa has never lacked potential, and I say it again. But potential only opens the doors. It is products, solutions, and partnerships that work through it. You need to come to the IATF 2025 to create those partnerships that will expand your business. We all need to come together at this gathering for products, for solutions, and for partners. Last week in Abuja, we witnessed a monumental milestone in the Africa's economic renaissance in the health sector, with the commissioning of the African Medical Center of Excellence, a 500-bed world-class facility launched by the partnership, Afreximbank, in partnership with King's College London. This is a new era in healthcare, and the industries that is going to create. That was the first. There will be several across Africa. It just makes me reiterate what the CEO said, that Africa can, Africa will, and Africa has. Let us have many of these monumental moments by coming to the IATF. A typical example of turning vision into reality is this. Thanks to the great minds in Afreximbank and the collaborative spirit of their partners. That same spirit is what we must carry into IATF 2025. Let us see this session today as a way to learn what is possible, but not just that, but to plan, to act, and to be there. To the entrepreneurs, creatives, policymakers, importers, transporters, insurers, exporters, investors, and financiers gathered here today, this is your gateway. Let us go to Algeria together. Let us showcase what we have. Let us see what we can learn. Let us be deliberate about forging new partnerships. Let us aim to collaborate with our other African brothers and sisters, and let us try to create collective prosperity for all of Africa. Because the best time to act was yesterday, the second best time is now. So once again, to our partners, our friends, our brothers, the change we expect in Africa is not a change that will be done by anyone but us, the people in this room. The people in this room are those who will ensure that we can increase and expand our collective prosperity. We have goods that we want to sell. We need to go out there to showcase them. We do not even know the things that are being produced by our brothers and sisters all around Africa. This is where to go. It will amaze you. And this is almost like a prophecy that most of you who make your way to the IATF will not come back empty-handed. Well, for me, I have bought my ticket, I have packed my bags. IATF 2025 in Algiers, here I come. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gabriel Edgar, a man of action, please put your hands together one more time for our proud ambassador, IATF 2025. Thank you for those warm notes of welcome, calling us to action and endeavor. Particularly glad to be here is the CEO of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. He joins us at a time when our country is greatly committed to really expand the reach of our exports through the Accelerated Export Development Advisory Committee that's been set up to, amongst other things, ladies and gentlemen, address challenges faced by our Ghanaian export sector, including high logistics and lengthy port and clearance times. Would you please make welcome Mr. Francis Kojo Kwating Arthur.
Well, I have been given a speech which I shall crave your indulgence to inflict on you. The Honorable Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, very much represented by Mr. Benjamin Esiam, Coordinator of the National Office of the AfTA. His Excellency Wamkele Meni, Secretary General of the AfTA Secretariat. Dr. George Elumbi, Executive Vice President, Afreximbank. Mr. Gabriel Edgar, Chairman and Group CEO, Oakwood Green, Africa and IATF2025 Ambassador. Distinguished delegates, representatives of international organizations, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take a short break of this speech that I'm about to inflict on you to acknowledge the presence of my predecessor, Osafo Hene, Dr. Efua Asabia Asare. Indeed, I have to acknowledge her because most of the things I'm going to inflict on you, she superintended it. Welcome, Doctor. Good morning and a warm welcome to you all to this IATF 2025 high-level roadshow here in Accra. It is both an honor and a privilege for me to address you and to see gathered here this distinguished assembly of key stakeholders of Africa's socio-economic development. As we convene to reflect our collective journey towards deeper economic integration, trade across Africa, I affirm Ghana Export Promotion Authority's avowed commitment to the goals of the African Union and the Agenda 2063, which requires our collective action. Ghana Export Promotion Authority, which I head, is working assiduously to push the AfTA agenda through actions that promote Ghana's trade with African countries. Honorable Minister, distinguished delegates, Ghana's journey at the Intra-African Trade Fair has been one of excellence and verifiable impact. Since its inception in Cairo, Egypt in December 2018, the IATF has been a powerful platform for African countries to showcase products, forge partnerships, and unlock new markets. Ghana has been a proud participant from the very first edition under the auspices of the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, with strong support from the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. The inaugural IATF in 2018, Ghana made a strong debut, setting the stage for our consistent and strategic approach to promoting intra-African trade and reaping the benefits thereof. Unfortunately, the COVID pandemic disrupted our participation in the 2020 edition. However, in 2021, GEPA mobilized over 60 Ghanaian companies across key sectors, including agro-processing, textiles and garments, industry, technology and crafts, ensuring Ghana's visibility at the event, as well as the IATF Virtual, which extended into 2022. At the end of the event, Ghana, your beloved country, was adjudged the best pavilion in terms of its appeal. Building on the success of 2021, Ghana again participated in the 2023 edition in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, where Ghana again received an award for the most extraordinary and experiential stand. Indeed, Ghana's pavilion was among the largest and most vibrant, featuring over 50 Ghanaian export companies, which showcased high-quality products ranging from cosmetics, cocoa products, garments, agro-processed products to fintech innovations. The results were remarkable. Among the key outcomes were the following. Over 120 million worth of trade leads were generated. Memoranda of understanding signed with key partners in Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, and Egypt. Ghana was adjudged the most extraordinary and experiential stand, an award that bore testimony to the diversity and quality of Ghana's product offerings. Distinguished delegates, these achievements have not only boosted national pride, but have also opened doors for Ghanaian businesses to expand across the continent, fostering partnerships, investments, and knowledge exchange that continue to bear fruit till date. Central to Ghana's progress in intra-African trade are the efforts GEPA is positioning the country as a regional trade leader through strategic interventions, capacity building, and market access initiatives. A notable example is the establishment of the Ghana Trade House in Nairobi in 2023, which now supports 80 Ghanaian companies trading over 1,050 product lines across East Africa, significantly reducing market entry barriers. GEPA's impact is amplified through partnerships with key institutions such as the National Coordination Office of AfTA, Afreximbank, the AfTA Secretariat, ECOWAS, the EU, ITC Geneva, and the CBI of the Netherlands. These collaborations have strengthened Ghana's trade ecosystem and supported broader goals of industrialization and poverty reduction. As we prepare for IATF 2025, Ghana Export Promotion Authority under the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry will once again lead the participation of over 50 companies, showcasing Ghana's diverse export offerings. Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, Africa's trade future is promising, and GEPA remains committed to championing Ghanaian products across the continent while deepening trade relations with fellow African nations. We are proud to be part of this important roadshow. Akwaba.
We're grateful to you, the CEO of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Mr. Francis Kwadwo Arthur, for those warm commitments. And now, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Managing Director, Research and Group Chief Economist at the Afreximbank, Dr. Yemi Kale, for his opening remarks. A round of applause.
Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu-Adjari, Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, the Republic of Ghana, ably represented by the acting head of the AfCFTA Coordination Office, Mr. Benjamin Asiam, His Excellency Wamkili Mene, Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, His Excellency Mr. Murad Lauhadia, Ambassador to Algeria, of Algeria to Ghana, Embassy of Algeria in Accra, Ghana, Mr. Gabriel Edgar, Chairman and Group CEO of Oakwood Grain Africa and IATF's 2025 Ambassador. I think we listened to his passionate address, and I think we all understand why he is the ambassador for IATF 2025. Thank you, Mr. Edgar, for your commitment to IATF and your commitment to Africa. Mr. Francis Kwado Kwateng Otto, Chief Executive Officer, Export, the Ghanaian Export Promotion Authority, Mr. Mark Badu Agwaige, the Chief Executive Officer, the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Simon Madi, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Mr. Seth Twom Akwaboa, Chief Executive Officer, Association of Ghana Industries, Mr. Jeffrey Prepar, Chief Executive Officer, Volkswagen Ghana, and the President of the Automotive Assemblers Association of Ghana, Dr. Afua Asari, Dr. Wale Okediron. Our other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It gives me great pleasure to be here this morning in the vibrant and industrial city of Accra, a city that has long stood at the crossroads of commerce, of culture, and continental ambition. I bring you all warm greetings from the African Export-Import Bank, and I express our sincere appreciation to all of our Ghanaian partners for joining hands with us to advance this shared vision of Africa's economic transformation. Let me particularly at this juncture also thank the government of Ghana, Oakwood Grain Africa, the Ghana Promotion Authority, Export Promotion Authority, the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, the Association of Ghana Industries, and all the stakeholders who have worked tirelessly to make this roadshow possible. Your commitment to this cause is deeply appreciated. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today with purpose and urgency. This roadshow is part of our collective effort to build momentum towards the Intra-African Trade Fair 2025, which will take place, as we are aware, from the 4th to the 10th of September this year in Algiers, Algeria. But more importantly, it is about mobilizing action. Action that ensures Ghana's public and private sectors are well represented and competitively positioned to seize the opportunities this landmark event will offer. At the heart of today's engagement lies a bold idea. That idea can and must trade, that Africa must trade more with itself, not only in raw materials, but in value-added goods, services, and innovation. That idea is the engine behind the AfCFTA and the Intra-African Trade Fair, which we are here to promote today, and which is the AfCFTA's commercial face and marketplace, is where we bring that idea to life. Accordingly, while the AfCFTA provides the legal and policy framework for this transformation, the IATF acts as its commercial engine, bringing together businesses, bringing together investors, governments, and innovators from across the continent to forge partnerships and to unlock new markets. One of the persistent barriers to intra-African trade is not tariffs or logistics alone, but also access to accurate, timely, and actionable market intelligence. Trade cannot flourish in the absence of information. A striking illustration of this gap is found in the leather industry, where Tunisia, Morocco, and South Africa collectively import over $400 million worth of leather goods annually, primarily from Europe and South America, despite the fact that countries like Ethiopia, Kenya, and Sudan possess both the capacity and the quality to supply a significant portion of that demand. The problem here is not capacity, it is connectivity. Similarly, West African countries spend over $3 billion annually importing meat products from countries as distant as Argentina and Australia, while nations such as Mali, Namibia, Chad, Sudan, Botswana, and South Africa have the production capacity to meet much of this demand within our borders. These imbalances are not merely economic inefficiencies. They represent missed opportunities for job creation, missed opportunities for value addition, missed opportunities for economic diversification across the continent. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the increasing relevance of the Intra-African Trade Fair has been recognized at the highest levels. The African Union has formally designated the IATF as the commercial face of the AfCFTA and has integrated it into its institutional framework. At the February 2024 AU Summit, heads of state and government welcomed the tangible impact of the trade fair on boosting intra-African trade volumes and celebrated the cross-border agreement signed across multiple sectors, from manufacturing and agriculture to digital services and infrastructure. We must therefore see the IATF not just as a marketplace, but as a strategic tool for implementation. It is where policy meets practice and where Africa's trade integration agenda is converted into real-world transactions and transformative outcomes. Over the past 6 years, the IATF has grown from an aspirational platform to a proven high-impact engine of trade and investment. The inaugural edition in Cairo in 2018 brought together over 1,000 exhibitors and generated an impressive $32 billion United States dollars in trade deals. In Durban in 2021, despite a challenging global environment at the time, the fair welcomed more than 1,500 exhibitors and 32,000 participants, delivering $42.1 billion United States dollars in signed transactions. Then in Cairo, once again, in 2023, nearly 2,000 exhibitors from 65 countries generated $43.7 billion in trade and investment deals. Cumulatively, the IATF has attracted over 4,500 exhibitors, more than 70,000 visitors, and facilitated over $100 billion United States dollars in deals. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, these are not just numbers. They are a testament to Africa's appetite for intracontinental trade and its ability to convert vision into value. And yet, we know this is only the beginning. With the AfCFTA now fully operating 1.4 billion people and a GDP of over 3.5 trillion United States dollars, Africa is emerging as the world's largest free trade area by number of participating countries. The sheer scale of opportunity is historic. And by opportunity, I mean it will mean little without platforms that enable connection, visibility, and transactions. This is what the IATF offers and why we must take it very seriously. Ghana in particular has a vital role to play in this journey. As host to the AfCFTA Secretariat, Ghana is the nerve center of Africa's integration agenda. But beyond symbolism, Ghana has the economic foundations, it has the entrepreneurial spirit, it has the institutional strength to lead by example. With a growing manufacturing base, a strong agricultural sector, and a dynamic SME ecosystem, Ghana is well positioned to integrate into regional value chains, to expand exports of value-added goods, and attract investments from across the continent and beyond. At Afreximbank, we are proud of our long-standing relationship with Ghana. Ghana is a founding member state of Afreximbank and hence an integral part of the bank's development agenda. Since our inception, we have supported Ghanaian businesses across key sectors, and we are committed to doing more to support Ghana's export-led growth and continental competitiveness. So what does IATF 2025 hold in store? As I mentioned earlier, from the 4th to the 10th of September, Algiers will host the 5th edition of the Intra-African Trade Fair. And it is one that we expect to be larger, one that we expect to be deeper, and one that we expect to be more dynamic than ever before. We are targeting more than 2,000 exhibitors from across 75 countries. We are targeting more than 35,000 participants, and we are expecting over 44 billion United States dollars in new trade and investment deals. The program would include a 7-day trade exhibition, a 4-day trade and investment forum featuring leading African and international speakers, business to business and business to government platforms for matchmaking and business exchanges, special days dedicated for countries, as well as public and private entities to showcase trade and investment opportunities and tourism and cultural attractions. A creative Africa Nexus program to showcase Africa's creative talent and opportunities. It will also include an Africa automotive show for auto manufacturers, assemblers, original equipment manufacturers, and component suppliers. The African Sovereign Government Network for sub-sovereign governments to promote trade, investment, educational and cultural exchanges among sub-sovereigns in the context of the AfCFTA would also be showcased. An AU Youth and Startup Program showcasing innovative ideas and prototypes. The African Research and Innovation Hub targeting the academia and national researchers to exhibit their innovations and research projects. And a Global Diaspora Day connecting Africa's people, products, and partnerships across continents. So it's going to be a really, really full and form-packed event. And for those unable to attend physically, we will extend this experience through a virtual trade fair, ensuring digital access to content, to contacts, and to commercial opportunities. But let me be clear, we are not just asking Ghana to attend. We are here to invite Ghana to also lead. We want to see Ghanaian businesses exhibiting, Ghanaian provinces hosting pavilions, Ghanaian creatives performing, and Ghanaian entrepreneurs closing deals. We want the strength of Ghana's private sector to be fully on display in Algiers. We also encourage government agencies, chambers, cooperatives, youth innovators, and investors to begin preparing now. The fair is only 3 months away, and it offers unmatched visibility, unmatched connectivity, and unmatched market access. Let us ensure Ghana is not just present, but prominent. At Afreximbank, we will continue to stand firmly behind this agenda through our growing portfolio of instruments, including the Pan-African Payment Settlement System, the AfCFTA Adjustment Fund, various trade and project finance exceeding over $40 billion, and equity guarantee and advisory services. We continue to help African businesses and governments not only to trade more, but to trade better. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, let me reiterate that the Intra-African Trade Fair is not a side event for Africa's development. It is rather a central lever. It gives us the tools to connect ambition to capital, policy to productivity, and markets to manufacturers. Let us seize this moment, let us prepare, mobilize, and lead, and let us ensure that when Africa gathers in Algiers this September, Ghana is at the heart of the conversation and at the front of this opportunity. I look forward to welcoming all of you to IATF 2025, the marketplace of the AfCFTA, and a platform for a more prosperous Africa. I thank you, and I look forward to seeing all of you in Algiers this September. Thank you very much.
Dr. Yemi Kale is the MD, Research and Group Chief Economist, Afreximbank. Why don't we appreciate him one more time? And for daring us to show up in our numbers, we promise you we will show up large and in charge. Only if the Nigerians are not jealous. Somebody say consistency. Oh, come on, say it, let me hear. Consistency. To know the Secretary General of the AfCFTA is to understand the meaning of consistency through his adherence to this great charge of harnessing regional and continental value chains. It is one that he spread throughout every platform he's been on as a true evangelist, accelerating Africa's industrialization and global competitiveness under AfTA. Today, he gives us an opportunity to understand this theme very clearly as we make our way to Algiers. Fellow Africans, hear him like a fellow African. And non-Africans, please listen to him with an open mind. I give to you His Excellency Wamkele Mene.
Thank you very much, Jerry, for the very, very generous remarks. I am very honored to be here, and I want to thank the Chairman and Group CEO of Oakwood Green and Ambassador of IATF, my dear brother Gabi. I also want to recognize the Chief Executive Officer of Ghana Export Promotion Authority. I want to welcome the Chief Economist of Afreximbank and the senior managers that are here. Your Excellency, Ambassador of Algeria to Ghana, Excellencies, Ambassadors that are here, members of the Diplomatic Corps, our dear sister, the former CEO of Ghana Export Promotion Agency, Dr. Asare. Thank you very much to everybody for being here this morning. In 2018, in December 2018 to be precise, I attended the first edition of the IATF. And at that time, there were no state parties to the agreement establishing the AfCFTA. In other words, it was still all talk. Almost 7 years later, we now have an agreement establishing the AfCFTA that comprises 49 state parties, 49 agreements, 49 countries, members of the African Union, that are now committed to a single set of rules for trade and investment on our continent. And so the call to action that we heard this morning from Gabi, reminding us of the opportunities in our continent, that call to action is supported by the policies, by the rules of the AfCFTA that enable trade to transcend our borders and to transcend our regions. The partnership with Afreximbank that the AfCFTA Secretariat has goes beyond a strategic collaboration. It is a partnership of a shared vision, shared objectives of economic integration, reducing the cost of trade in our continent, and enabling opportunities, particularly for small medium enterprises, to take advantage of this market of 1.4 billion people. In that regard, the AfCFTA Secretariat is not just a collaborator with Afreximbank and the African Union, we believe that the AfCFTA is a co-convener of the AfCFTA marketplace in the form of the IATF, presenting, as I just noted, a market of 1.4 billion people. Without Afreximbank, the AfCFTA would be simply a diplomatic exercise, a trade agreement that only lawyers appreciate, with no commercial trade taking place. The partnership with Afreximbank is critical for ensuring the trade finance components, infrastructure that supports trade, as well as recently what we embarked on, ease of payments through the Pan-African Payments and Settlement System. It is therefore a very important twin sister or brother of the AfCFTA. Similarly, without the AfCFTA, the billions and billions of dollars that Afreximbank deploys to trade finance, to supporting trade infrastructure, will not amount to much, because if the trade barriers exist, the non-tariff barriers, and other forms of prohibitions of trade between and amongst African countries, the investments that Afreximbank make will not yield the results that all of us would expect. It is therefore a very important strategic relationship, partnership, and collaboration. In that context, the IATF matters because it offers a platform for inclusivity. It offers a platform that includes young people, small medium enterprises, smallholder farmers, up-and-coming manufacturers, to be part of Africa's trade. The fundamental requisite for us to achieve our objectives as a continent of uplifting millions and millions of Africans out of abject poverty will be met, I believe, where trade contributes significantly to economic activity on our continent. For too long, our share of world trade as a continent has stagnated at just over 3%. Contribution of other parts of the world to global trade have been significantly higher, even regions or countries of the world that have much lower populations than our continent. Other regions trade extensively amongst themselves. We know, for example, that the European Union intra-EU trade is estimated to be at over 70%. Intra-Asia trade is estimated to be over 60%, and so on. By some accounts, and the accounts vary, intra-Africa trade ranges between 15 and 18%. Of course, I have a different view, because I believe that the true scale of Africa's internal trade is significantly higher than the 15% to 18% range, given the prevalence of informal cross-border trade, and of course, the contribution of smallholder farmers and small medium enterprises, which is not captured in the data that we compute. So we have to provide the evidence that intra-Africa trade is higher than the range of 15 to 18%, and the AfCFTA Secretariat is working on that, and soon we shall be in a position to announce what we believe are accurate figures that express intra-Africa trade. Nonetheless, this does not mean that we must relax our resolve to ensure that intra-Africa trade not only creates opportunities for small medium enterprises, for young people, for our agricultural informal traders, but that it does indeed contribute quite significantly to Africa's overall economic activity. And as Gabby mentioned in his remarks, our trade has often been extractive, exporting raw materials, unprocessed goods to countries abroad to import those goods or products as finished goods. The main objective of the AfCFTA, in addition to elimination of intra-Africa trade barriers, is to reverse this pattern and this trend of over-reliance on the export of primary commodities and to foster productive capacity, manufacturing capacity, provide incentives to innovation, and to ensure that value addition does take place in Africa on a range of products, including cocoa, vehicles, and other minerals. This is why our development finance institutions are absolutely critical to the implementation of the AfCFTA, the African Development Bank, Afreximbank, Africa 50, the Africa Finance Corporation, Trade and Development Bank of Africa, who combined offer us an opportunity to leverage on a balance sheet of over 150 billion United States dollars to ensure investment in productive capacity and ensure that we deploy this capital on trade supporting infrastructure. Our ambitions of developing capacities and value chains in agriculture, in pharmaceuticals, in transport and logistics, and ensuring that our competitiveness is enhanced, I'm afraid we will not see the positive results that we want to see if we do not succeed in mobilizing investment in these very, very important sectors of Africa's economy that enable us to be competitive, to enhance innovation, and to create jobs. So we have to develop these partnerships, collaborations with our development finance institutions, and I believe with Afreximbank at the center of that collaboration, so that we ensure a unified framework for trade, for manufacturing capacity, and in general, to develop our continent. Therefore, IATF 2025 is where this grand vision that I've just set out, where it becomes a reality. It is a direct marketplace for all of the different stakeholders on the African continent that have the capacity to contribute to Africa's overall economic activity. And therefore, I urge all of you to take advantage of the IATF. For the private sector in Ghana, whether you are a large corporation, small, medium enterprise, a youthful entrepreneur, financial institutions in Ghana, I urge all of you to take advantage of the AfCFTA. There will be platforms, as you've heard, for exhibitions of your products that you produce, the services that you produce, and a very successful outcome, I'm sure, will result from your participation in terms of opportunities for you as a business to scale not only your productive capacity, but to scale your reach of market to other parts of the African continent, whether it is Central Africa, West Africa, or North Africa. This is an opportunity that we provide along with Afreximbank, the African Union Commission, once every 2 years to ensure that indeed the implementation of the AfCFTA reaches the length and breadth of our continent and reaches the millions and millions of Africans so that they take advantage of this market. And so let me end where I began, and that is in 2018. there were 0 state parties to the agreement establishing the AfCFTA. It was only Afreximbank as a convener. Today, there are 49 countries, 49 members of the African Union who have offered you a marketplace comprising 1.4 billion Africans on a range of different sectors, including agriculture, manufacturing, and all of these sectors will be supported by the various instruments that the chief economist mentioned that have been introduced by Afreximbank and supported by the AfCFTA Secretariat. These include, as he mentioned, the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, which is set to significantly reduce the cost of currency convertibility and offer you the opportunity to trade in local currency. Soon we will be introducing, again along with Afreximbank, the AfCFTA Transit Guarantee Scheme, which will also reduce the cost of transit of goods across borders. We have successfully rolled out these projects and these tools that enhance Africa's trade, and in due course, I hope before the end of this year, we will announce the rollout of the Africa Trade Gateway Initiative, which again is intended to enable our SMEs to take advantage of the market by business connectivity with other small medium enterprises across the continent, know your customer information, custom systems information, as well as, of course, the ability for digital payments systems on the same platform, which is the Africa Trade Gateway. All of these steps we have undertaken with the single objective of ensuring that intra-Africa trade is not just a slogan, that intra-Africa trade does contribute to job creation in Africa, contributes to our competitiveness as a continent, and our innovation capacity to be enhanced. And so I am very pleased that Algeria is the next host of the AfCFTA in September. We have been working consistently with the government of Algeria to prepare a seamless intra-Africa trade fair, and all of us look forward to attending in large numbers the Intra-Africa Trade Fair. And so I want to thank all of you very much for your attention, and I hope we will have good discussions over the next few hours. Thank you very much.
The warm remarks of our co-convener, the AfCFTA Secretariat, and the Secretary General, His Excellency Wamkele Mene. Your Excellency, if it pleases you, respectfully, I would like you to take your place right here in the middle as I invite to join you for a family photo. Our representative of the Minister, together with Dr. Yemi Kale, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Algeria to Ghana, Ambassadors, Mr. Gabriel Edgal, Dr. Ifua Sabia Sare, the CEO of GEPA, respectfully I invite you to join, Cynthia from Oakwood Green, Mr. Hilary Kumwenda, let me invite Dr. Gainmore, Mr. Peter Olowoni, and Emeka Ozumba. And so this will be the first photo. The second photo will be with all African heads of mission, all African ambassadors and high commissioners, as many as are represented here. Please join us on stage. In the absence of that, Your Excellency, what you show us to be the meaning of intra-African trade is sovereignty, integrity, and dignity as persons. But Africa is youthful, so we want you to help us send a message to the whole of Africa, all the African champions. Are you ready? So please rise and please take out your phones. Your Excellency, we've never seen you take a selfie before. So please reach out for your phone. I ask that you please turn around. Can we get His Excellency your phone? Anybody from AFTA, please. And so we are going to take this pledge together. Today we are all AFTA champions. Please rise with me. Take out your phones. Your Excellency, I ask that you on stage please turn around and capture the audience as we make this solemn pledge. Yes, please. So His Excellency will capture everybody within the precinct of the phone. So let's say this together, all right? Everybody, please. Are we ready? As proud champions of intra-Africa trade, we pledge to stop saying the market is too small and start trading across 54 countries, to stop waiting for foreign investors and fund each other like bosses we are, to stop complaining about borders and start using AfTA, to smash them, to stop saying but logistics are hard, and start building the supply chains Africa deserves, to stop talking about potential and start delivering real deals, and most importantly, to not just meet in Algiers this September, but to show up with signed contracts and transformative deals. And so IATF 2025, we say, Algiers, we are coming. IATF 2025. IATF 2025. And for the last time, let's send it to the whole of Africa. IATF 2025. Put your hands together for yourselves. Your Excellency, thank you for making time. We know you have other duties, and so we wish you well. We shall certainly convey all the outcomes of our deliberations to you. Please be seated as we continue with the rest of the program. A round of applause for His Excellency Wamkele Mene as he takes leave of us. What an invigorating session so far. We end it with the keynote address from our Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. In his stead, we're delighted to have the acting head of the, I beg your pardon, let me take that again. Instead, we're joined by the acting head, the AfTA National Coordination Office. Would you please make welcome Mr. Benjamin Esiam as he delivers the keynote.
Thank you, Jerry. His Excellency Wamkele Mene, Secretary General, African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, Dr. George Elombi, Executive Vice President, Governance, Legal and Corporate Services, Afreximbank, Mr. Francis Kwateng Atta, Chief Executive Officer, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Mr. Gabriel Edgar, Chairman and Group CEO of Oak Green Africa, Dr. Yemi Kale, Managing Director, Research and Group Chief Economist, Afreximbank, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am delivering this message on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, who is attending to an equally important national assignment. I'm highly elated and honored to be invited to deliver the keynote address at the IATF2025 Roadshow in Ghana, which is aimed at providing a unique platform for creating awareness and facilitating trade and investment information exchange. At the outset, I would like to acknowledge and thank Afreximbank and Oak Green Africa for supporting and continuously championing Africa's integration efforts through many interventions and trade fairs. As you may be aware, this year's event, themed Harnessing Regional and Continental Value Chains, Accelerating Industrialization and Global Competitiveness is the fourth in the series and is set to provide a platform for businesses from Africa and beyond to showcase their goods and exchange trade and investment information. It is envisaged that over 2,000 exhibitors and more than 35,000 visitors from more than 1 fund are expected to attend the 7-day fair that will be hosted by the government of the People's Republic of Algeria. Ladies and gentlemen, it is worthy of note that Africa accounts for a mere 3% of global trade. Intra-Africa trade currently stands at 17% compared with 68% in Europe and nearly 60% in Asia. Every year, Africa carries an infrastructural gap of over 100 billion, yet Africa is a continent of abundance. We possess 30% of the world's mineral resources, 65% of arable land, and 12% of the world's oil reserves. The question is no longer whether Africa has potential, but it is whether we have the will to realize it. Ladies and gentlemen, AfCFTA is the boldest economic vision since the founding of the Organization of African Unity, our blueprint for redemption and transformation. It is Africa's pathway to equitable development and continental industrialization. Distinguished guests, cognizant of the above, the government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, is vigorously pursuing the Accelerated Export Development and the 24-Hour Economy Program. These economic programs serve as Ghana's flagship economic transformation agenda. They center on a framework designed to restructure Ghana's economy by focusing on agro-processing, skills development, digital innovation, infrastructure and logistics, and export competitiveness. Ghana's commitment to moving beyond commodity-based trade towards a model centered on value addition, technology transfer, and sustainable industrial partnership is a noble one. While traditional exports such as cocoa, gold, and oil remains important, Ghana's future is in developing higher value chain sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, as the host of the African Continental Free Trade Secretariat, Ghana has positioned itself as a leader in promoting regional trade integration. The government is actively creating an enabling environment for businesses to thrive under AfCFTA by improving trade infrastructure, financing, and market access. By leveraging its strategic position on the AfCFTA Secretariat, by leveraging its strategic position as the AfCFTA Secretariat host, Ghana aims to become a gateway for intra-Africa trade through boosting industrialization and job creation. Additionally, Ghana has developed a national policy framework and implementation plan to strategically coordinate Ghana's AfCFTA implementation through the National Coordination Office. Under our market expansion program, the NCO is providing firm-level support to over 2,000 MSMEs in Ghana. This includes sensitization, market readiness training programs, training on after rules of origin, trade finance, and market access initiatives. As part of the project, product lines have been issued with after certificate of origin, and 900 product lines registered to trade under the AfCFTA. Ladies and gentlemen, the NCO is finalizing a market intelligence report